What's up everybody, Aditya Mahajan here and welcome back to yet another YouTube video. In today's video, we'll be solving another easy lead code problem, question number 118, also called as Pascal's triangle. It has also been asked in day 21 of June lead code challenge, so let's get started. Given an integer num rows, return the first num rows of Pascal's triangle. In Pascal's triangle, each number is sum of two numbers directly above it as shown. Okay, so this animations explain it very properly. So what basically happens is we are given an integer num rows, which in the first example we are given it to be 5, and we need to return that many number of rows of the Pascal's triangle. Okay, for example, if we are given the number of rows to be 5, we return 5 rows, and the first and the second rows are fixed, that is first row is 1 and second row is 1 comma 1. Okay, so what happens after that is at every particular index, except for the first and the last index of that row, we just sum up whatever the previous levels numbers that are present to its before and its after. Okay, so what basically I am trying to say is, if you take a look at this example, for the first and second level the things are fixed. Okay, so if you are not able to see it, the first and the second levels are fixed, they are 1 and 1 comma 1. Okay, so all the levels after that, we have a particular rule. For all the elements that are on the edge would be 1. Okay, and for all the middle elements, what we need to do is we need to take its previous of the before layer and after of the before layer and sum them up. Similarly, for this 3, it is 2 plus 1, it becomes 3, and 2 plus 1, it becomes 3. Similarly, for the final layer, fifth, that is 1 plus 3 gives us 4, 3 plus 3 gives us 6, and 3 plus 1 gives us again 4. Okay, so in this way, the Pascal's triangle is formed. So I think it is pretty obvious, and the approach that here we'll be using is dynamic programming. Basically, it is nothing much, but just we are taking the previous row into account and adding them to get our current value. So it is termed to be as dynamic programming. Now let us look at the code to understand this better. So before going into the solution, I wanted to show you one more animation that LeetCode has provided in the solution section. Okay, so it helps to visualize the indices of the DP table or the matrix that we'll be creating to populate the values. Okay, so what they have done is they have taken the Pascal triangle and shifted it to the left side. Okay, so basically this triangle that was present would come in complete, first element would complete in a single would come in a single column, and then they would adjust to the right hand side. Okay, so this is the same thing, first and the second row are 1 and 1 and 1, and after that they go on populating the rest of the elements. As you can see, for first initially there is 1, then we have 1 and 1, then they have put first and last element and they have added 1 and 1 to give 2, then 1 and 2 to give 3, 2 and 1 to give 3, then again 1 and 3 to give 4, 3 and 3 to give 6, and 3 and 1 to give 4. Okay, so this helps in visualizing the indices that we have. Okay, so that we just do not go out of the bounds. Now let us jump into the code and see what it does. So first three this if condition are the base conditions. So basically whenever we are given the total number of rows, these are if it is said to be 0, 1 or 2. 0 means no rows, so we just return null. If it is one row, we just return a vector of vector having first layer to be just 1, and if number of rows are 2, then we give 1 and 1 comma 1 in the second layer. After that we create the answer, that is DP table or the matrix, 2D matrix, and we just push 2 layers into it because we are already sure that now we have more than 2 layers to return. One more thing to note here is that the number of rows that are given are not zero based index. Okay, so whenever we are said we have a number of rows to be 5, we need to return first rows counting from 1. Okay, so that is why we are starting from 2 and till number of rows. So for taking and filling the all the elements, we need two for loops. First for loop will take into account the layers, and second for loop will take into account the every element of each layer. Okay, so the first for loop, as now you have seen, and after that we'll create a temporary vector so that we can add the elements to the temporary vector and finally push it to our answer vector, that is we need to return. So as we know, in every layer the first and last elements are 1, which is why we are doing if j equal to 0 or j equal to I, that is first and last element, we are just pushing back 1. Now that first and last are taken care of, we need to take care of other elements. Now if you take a look at this example, for the first, second and third layer, when we need to fill 2, then we are adding 1 plus 1, which is, if you think of it as I and j, then this would be I minus 1 and j minus 1. That is what we are doing, answer of I minus 1 and j minus 1. And the element which is on top of it is this one, that is I minus 1 and j. So we are just adding them and pushing it back to the temp. Okay, after this for loop is completed, we are filled with our temporary vector, that is of the current layer. So we just push it back to the temp and we just clear it. This is actually not required because after getting out of this scope, it would anyways be cleared, temporary vector. Okay, and after that, finally coming out of the second for loop, we are present with our answer vector, that is we need to return, and we just return the answer. So now let's just try to run our code, and it's accepted. We'll just submit it, and we are getting faster than 100% and less than 23% of memory usage. So that's all for this video, guys. If you did not understand any part, do comment below. I'll try to answer as fast as possible. If you need more such lead code content, subscribe to the channel and join the Discord server for future updates. And that's all. See you in the next video. Bye bye.